While my Khamzat Chimaev video is uploading, I'm making another one about him. Everyone says Colby Covington. Before I give a prediction on that fight, I want to say that there's still a chance he could fight other top 10 guys or other ranked guys if Colby Covington, for some reason, is unable to fight Khamzat, whether it's pulling out, avoiding Khamzat, or getting hurt. There's Leon Edwards. And let's say Kamaru gets hurt and there's an interim title fight. That's a possible fight. Let's say Jorge Masvidal. He looks at Jorge and says, well, he's coming off 3 losses, but he's popular. If I beat this guy too, he'll make my name even bigger, and I can make $1 million or more beating this guy, especially if I beat him convincingly. So, and it's an easy matchup for me. Jorge's not the best at wrestling. So, and I know I can hang with him on the feet, even though there's danger because he knocked out my boy Darren Till. But I'd still fight Jorge, beat him, and make a big paycheck, and then wait for my title shot. So all those fights are possible. Well, let's just say he fights Colby Covington. First off, let's look at the styles. Colby Covington, and this is not personal, this is all UFC stuff, so I'm going to leave my personal feelings aside. Colby is an elite wrestler. He's very good at bringing the pressure when he fights. His cardio is great. In the 5th round, he could have fought the whole time. He's still fresh. He's pretty good with his boxing. His striking is always improving. His technique on the feet with his striking is always getting better. He doesn't really necessarily have the knockout power, but he can land some big shots. He also, the thing is his pressure. And I keep comparing him to Cain Velasquez because even though Cain never really had straight up one-punch knockout power, he always brought pressure. And eventually you would wilt under that pressure like Junior did, like Brock did. So Colby fights a lot like that. I just think he's just a lot more successful in the wrestling department simply because he's been fighting longer and he stays healthier than Cain did in his prime. Now back to the styles. You have that. And the thing is, Colby has more experience in 5-round fights. This will likely be a 5-round fight. So the edge goes to Colby with experience, championship fights, but there's also a downside to that, and I'll go to that in a second. Now let's look at Khamzat. Khamzat's very dangerous on the feet. It's not that he's really pressuring you, but he hits hard. He's always coming after you. His wrestling is also very dangerous. I do think Colby has slightly better wrestling just because he's been wrestling longer. When it comes to his fights, he's going to be a little bit better. But Khamzat, obviously very talented. He works with Darren Till. So, you know his skills are going to be always sharp and ready. And the thing is, Khamzat has knockout power. He can also submit guys. So just because he doesn't really get the better of the grappling when it comes to wrestling, he can probably go for a submission sooner and be more successful than Colby Covington. Now here's the thing with experience that Colby has. There's also a downside to that. He's fought Kamaru Usman twice. Both fights made it to the 5th round. In both those fights, they both took a lot of damage. He obviously took a lot more. So you know he's not going to be the same guy he was 3 years ago before he fought Usman. He's taken a lot of damage. When he fought Jorge Masvidal, I think that fight was a little bit closer than it should have been. He even admitted in the UFC that was not his best performance. Now, if he had fought Jorge in 2018-19, he probably would have beat him worse. He wouldn't have been so banged up. He would have been fresher. And even when he fought Jorge, he had fought Usman like a few months before that, so he didn't really get much time to recover. And he obviously took damage in that fight, but he still won the fight. It's a testament to how good Colby is in the UFC, but how much damage he's also taken. So you got to question that as well. And he also fought not long ago. So I think he has the advantage with experience, but Khamzat's going to be a fresher body. He just had one war. Every other fight looked easy on paper. Colby's been through at least 2 or 3 different wars. And even though it was pretty one-sided with Jorge kind of gave him a fight a little bit, somewhat, even though, let's just take that back. But for Colby to win this fight, he needs to make this fight last longer than a round or 2. He needs to win a decision in this fight. He needs to utilize his wrestling. He needs to get in Khamzat's face and hit him. He needs to be smart like he has been with Robbie Lawler, Jorge Masvidal, all good strikers in the past. And he needs to use his elite collegiate Division I wrestling and take Khamzat down and hold him there, hit him a few times. That's what he needs to do. And he needs to do this for 5 rounds. Can he do that for 5 rounds? Absolutely he can. He's very good. He's an elite guy. Khamzat does not want to take this the distance. He, on the other hand, needs to finish Colby. Does he need to pull off a Jorge and finish his fight within 2 rounds? Absolutely not. He's clearly in good shape. He's always coming forward. But Colby brings more pressure than Khamzat does now. I see that because Khamzat's fought Gilbert Burns, an elite fighter. So Khamzat needs to finish this fight within at least 3 rounds. You don't want to see this go in the 4th or 5th round, because if you don't finish Colby, Colby's going to be fresh in the 4th or 5th round, more likely than Khamzat will be. So who wins this fight? I think Khamzat can win this fight. Colby can win this fight in a very close decision. I don't think he's going to make Khamzat really wilt, because Khamzat is a different fighter, and he's something that Colby's not used to seeing. So, this is a really tough fight to decide. You know, they've both been through wars, but I think the damage is going to hurt Colby. I think Khamzat's wrestling is just on another level, not compared to Colby, but he brings other weapons. His striking, his boxing, you know, his kicking. And he will throw knees, he will throw front kicks to kind of keep Colby away from trying to grab him right away. So while Colby can win this fight and he has the edge and experience, I just think he's taking too much damage. And I think you'll see Khamzat take advantage of that and win another decision. For some reason, I just don't see him submitting Colby Covington. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't see him knocking him out either. Unless he gets the TKO later in the fight, like in the 3rd round. He catches him with something big, drops him, and follows it up, like Kamaru did in the first fight. That's possible. I take it back. I think he's going to TKO Colby Covington. He has that edge. See, Colby's been making fun of his name. I'm not saying it on his channel. You can go look it up. But he's mentioned his mom. He's mentioned his country already. You know, Khamzat's going to take this fight personally, but he's one of those guys that's going to learn from his mistakes with the Gilbert fight. He's going to take him seriously. He's going to listen to his coach more. He's going to take this fight like his life depends on it. And he's already said, I want to be champion. I want to be champ. In order to be champ, I got to beat Colby Covington. And he will. Khamzat by 3rd or 4th round TKO. He'll be too much for Colby Covington that night. If it's 5 rounds or 3 rounds, it won't matter.